Radio Action Theater presents Child of the Sun, The Expedition of Hernando de Soto, a drama in 5 episodes. Your host, Eli Wallach.
In the final episode of Hernando de Soto's foray among the native tribes of the American South, we find the conquistador and his army west of the Mississippi River in what is now the state of Arkansas. The Spaniards have encountered many native societies, enslaving the Indians and taking their chiefs prisoner, searching in vain for gold, such as De Soto himself had seized in Peru. The expedition was to rendezvous with Spanish supply ships in the summer of 1540, but De Soto, alerted that some of his men planned to desert the expedition to search for gold in Peru and Mexico, has turned the expedition away from the sea, denying his men the chance to desert, but also leaving his army desperately short of food, clothing, and weapons. Only half the original army of 600 remains alive, as De Soto, like a man possessed, drives them deeper and deeper into unknown lands. Episode 5, the final episode of Child of the Sun, advanced by fortune.
The story of the toils and hardships attending Don Hernando de Soto in the conquest of Florida, who he was, and who the others were with him, all that they saw, and what befell them.
Retreat to the stockade, Don Hernando.
Take access to the walls. Get our people out that are still inside. Then set the town afire.
The provisions, Don Hernando. They're inside the walls.
Set the town afire!
Tuscaloosa! Tuscaloosa!
March 1542. A third hard winter was now past. The army was dressed in skins. All medicines, clothes, many horses and weapons gone, destroyed at the battle at Mabila and in the Indian attack at Chicasa. We had moved north and west, discovering a great river, the widest the Spaniards had ever seen, with Indians ready to contest our crossing.
All right, men, listen to me. We will cross this river to the great country that lies beyond. I will have your pledge to take the opposite shore from the Indian, or die. Aye! Aye! Aye!
The Indians withdrew. The expedition crossed the river and found a country densely settled, with flat and fertile fields for growing. But Don Hernando sought a treasure of gold and silver like that he'd seized in Peru. The army pushed on.
It's Juan Ortiz. He's come down with a fever.
God forbid. We still need him to communicate with these Indians.
Don Hernando, it's time we quit this country.
Is that what my lieutenants have come to? To admit defeat, to quit?
Don Hernando, he asked for you. He's very ill.
Juan Ortiz, they say you're not well. But I see you only need rest.
Excellency, I thank you for coming.
Juan, think of Sevilla. Think of the family you've not seen in 14 years. Soon, Juan, soon.
It's no use, Don Hernando.
Juan.
Find them, Don Hernando.
Find them?
In Sevilla.
Sevilla.
My family. When you return, tell them for me. Tell them that I lived with the Indian. What remained, their son always. tell them to...
With the loss of Juan Ortiz, the army wandered month after month, traveling in circles. On and on we marched, meeting little resistance, but near collapse from the rigors of such a long and arduous journey. A sense of foreboding had fallen over the men. Don Hernando, riding ahead of them, his gaze fixed on the horizon, had appeared to lose all reason. The men could see no end of their travail, but a slow deterioration, until the very last one of them had perished.
The
chief say he is sorry for leaving the town.
Ask him, guide, if he has any information of a great ocean of water nearby.
Ocean mana istu tsoko.
He say he not know of such things. There are other chiefdoms where we may find out about this great ocean. A place called Kigualtam, across the river and 3 leagues down. Their lord is the greatest of all these lands.
Juan de Añasco, take 8 men and go downriver toward this Kigualtam. Get what information you can of a passage to the sea, and most of all, find out if there's any sign of wealth. Anything in that direction.
Yes, Don Hernando.
Godspeed, Juan. I've seen signs we are near the sea. The morning breeze.
Yes, Don Hernando.
Almost like Sevilla. Don't you think so?
I'm not sure, sir.
Well, go. Give my greetings to the sea. Adios.
Adios, Don Hernando.
Eight days we waited for the return of Juan de Añasco as he searched for a way to the sea. The mood of the Indians in this country was unknown, but with only a few horses left, with little defensive armor, we were in great danger.
Don Hernando.
Añasco, I was writing a letter to my wife. 3 years since she's heard from me. To be posted as soon as we reach the sea and rendezvous with... What is it, Juan?
Don Hernando, I'm sorry to report. In all the time we were gone, 8 days and nights, we could travel only 15 leagues. There's marshland on both sides of the river, far in each direction, and thick scrubs at every margin. Past Kigualtam downriver, there is no sign of habitation. None. It is impossible, Don Hernando. And as for treasure, I've come to believe there's no such thing to be found anywhere in this land.
Very well, Juan.
Shall I explore further?
No. We'll rest here longer, Juan, then decide.
Very well, Don Hernando.
Please, leave me now, Juan. I must have some time alone.
As you wish, Don Hernando.
Don Hernando was despondent over the obstacles that had presented themselves to his reaching the sea. He decided to ask the powerful cacique of Kigualtam for his assistance.
Guide, send this message to the cacique. Tell him I am the child of the sun. Wherever I go, all obey me and render their tribute. That I beseech him to value my friendship. That I would rejoice to see him. And that he should come bearing something from his country which is held in high esteem there, as a token of his goodwill.
I tell him. Yes, I tell him.
The chief replied he would believe Don Hernando to be the child of the sun only if he would cause the sun to dry up the great river. As for the rest, It was not the chief's custom to go and visit anyone, but rather for them to pay him tribute, voluntarily or by force.
Damn his insolence!
Don Hernando, you must return to bed.
They think we're weak! We will cross the river at once!
Governor, wait until your fever has broken.
Plotting against us!
The chief here says Quigualtam is planning an attack.
A trick! He's in league with this insolent Quigualtam! Put him on the guard!
Shall we fortify the gates?
The palisades should be
fortified. No! We'll show them how afraid we are of their threats!
Bon Isabel. Bon Isabel. Let's go.
Atahualpa! You are my prisoner! Take the 3 Indians who lied to us. Burn them, Gallegos. Be carried out immediately.
Tuscaloosa! 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 Tuscaloosa!
Guard! Guard! Guard!
Don Hernando.
Yes. Yes. What is it?
I heard you cry out.
Tovar, it's you.
What will you command, Don Hernando?
Tovar. Take a troop of men to Anilco. They're planning to attack us. Juan Ortiz overheard them talking.
Yes.
You must stop them. Go. Go quickly.
Yes, Don Hernando. Your command.
All right, man. Catch them by surprise. Weapons ready. Spare no man.
They were on the inhabitants quickly, before they could flee. Coming out of their houses, the Indians ran in all directions. Caught totally by surprise, there was not a man among them able to draw his bow. After the massacre at Anilco, Baltasar de Gallegos, Juan de Añasco, Luis de Moscoso, all de Soto's chief lieutenants, saw that Don Hernando, increasingly delirious, was near the end. It remained to choose a successor.
Men, my hour is near. I'll soon depart this life to stand before God and give account of all I've done.
You will be well received, Don Hernando.
He whom God calls earliest away is most favored.
You have served the Almighty with distinction.
You, all of you, forgive me. You've been loyal. I repay you by leaving you here. Enemies on all sides. And without finding what we came for. Forgive me. I beg you, forgive me. You'll not be divided when I'm gone. You must go on.
We will go on, Don Hernando, to continue the great mission that you have begun.
We are agreed, Don Hernando. Whomever you name as successor, we will obey.
Then, I will choose.
Don Hernando's eyes stopped on Luis Moscoso, whose loyalty had never wavered. The next day, the 21st day of May, 1542, departed this life the adelantado Don Hernando de Soto. He died in a land and at a time that could afford him little comfort, for staring his companions in the face was the very real danger that the outside world would never hear from them again.
We commit to this earth Don Hernando de Soto. Hurry up, priest. We must not be discovered. The Indians believe Don Hernando to be immortal.
No more.
Though Don Hernando's death was concealed from the Indians, they were suspicious. They had seen him ill. Moscoso ordered the corpse to be taken up, again at night, and carried by canoe to the middle of the great river. With his shroud weighted down with sand, Don Hernando's body was committed to the waters. Some of the men were glad of the death of Hernando de Soto, holding it certain that Luis de Moscoso would prefer to return to the comforts of Spain. The new governor ordered his captains to come together to decide what they should do.
Overland, along the river as it descends, wilderness and no food. In my opinion, the only way to get to the sea is to build brigantines and find a passage.
We know nothing about this river, or its course, or the rapids that could smash us to pieces.
Nuño Tobar, you are out of order.
I have made Nuño a captain. He may speak.
Yes. After his glorious victory at Anilco.
What's that?
Captain Tobar, then. It's obvious a river this wide will be navigable.
Even if the ships we built could make it down the river, Baltasar, they would never make it once we reached the sea. What happened to Narvaez, huh? He and all his men were lost.
We are better prepared. We have boat rights.
Once we got to the sea, how could we find a way?
I see you two are in agreement.
We should go overland to New Spain, like Cabeza de Vaca.
A desert! This country will not support an army.
Overland we can continue our search for gold.
Let's think of our lives.
Cabeza de Vaca! My own cousin. He saw gold.
Did you hear him say it?
Captain Añasco, what is your opinion?
That you have already made up your mind.
Well, it is settled then. We will go west overland toward New Spain.
Though Luis de Moscoso had been thought an easygoing man, in his search for gold, his methods were extreme. Guides who misled us were tortured, then thrown to the dogs. Many arms and legs were cut off. Tribes were pitted against each other to engage in their own barbarity. But the search for treasure was more fruitless than ever.
Kiwotam. Kiwotam. The invaders have left our country and are in Naguatex. There is fighting. Many people slaughtered. The invaders move in circles like a wounded beast.
Without this child of the sun, if they stumble around in darkness, they'll be back. They'll try to use the river to escape. We'll wait and repay them their kindnesses.
Take your card, Guzman.
Losing all day. He has nothing left.
My luck is worse than Don Hernando's.
You're still alive.
When will it end? When will it end?
Calm down. When we're all covered with gold, that's when.
Sure.
That's a ridiculous joke.
There's nothing funny about it.
We're going down the river soon.
We go across the desert.
Lobos was to build a house in Spain and a separate one for his wife.
Just pay attention to the cards, Guzman. Are you still in the game or not?
He's got nothing left.
What about that Indian woman of yours? Oh, a pretty thing. One of the best.
No.
Go on, Guzman. Take a card.
What difference does it make?
You've lost everything else.
All right.
You lose again, my friend.
No.
I will have me a woman tonight.
No, not tonight. Tomorrow.
What?
Let him have her one more night, Lobos. It's fair.
All right. But at dawn, she's mine.
Juan Guzman fled the expedition with his Indian wife, rather than give her up. Luis de Moscoso ordered a search party to hunt them down. After several days, the search was abandoned. 6 months after De Soto's death, Moscoso finally settled on building ships and navigating the great river to the sea. Chains were collected and a forge set up for making spikes. A man of Genoa, whom God had seen fit to spare, built brigantines. Biscayan carpenters hewed the planks and ribs. 2 caulkers, one a Genoese and the other a Sardinian, closed them up with oakum from a plant like hemp. Learning that some Indians planned to attack and kill the Spaniards before they could embark, Moscoso commanded their right hands and noses to be cut off. In the month of June, 1543, the brigantines were finished. We embarked on the great river. The next day, a blockade of more than 100 canoes had come together ahead of us, each with 60 or 70 men. They sent a message by 3 Indians in a smaller vessel.
What is it? What do they want? We are trying to lead this country in peace. Tell them.
They are from the chief Kigwaltam. They say they are friendly and bid us welcome.
Are you going to...
Tell them... I believe all they say.
Huh?
Thank them for their friendship.
Their friendship?
We have to break through. Head straight into the canoes, now!
For once I'm with you. Let's go!
Maybe they do want peace.
Luis! We've killed and tortured them. We're at their mercy unless we fight.
I will not accept your judgment, Baltasar.
No! They're coming at us! Look! Look!
Look out! Prepare for battle! Battle! Tovar! Take 25 men in canoes. Fend them off. Men who still have armor to ward off their arrows. Go!
You there!
Ready.
Look out. Keep water out of the boat.
Look at yourself together.
We're close to the water. They're too heavy.
Watch your paddles. We'll capsize.
I never should have come in this dress.
Shut up and paddle.
Look out! In the water right there! And over there!
Where?
Get away! Turn this! Shoot! Shoot!
They're under us!
We're going over!
They're capsized! All of them! Tomar!
The Indians of Kigwaltam, having won a great victory, now dared to attack the brigantines themselves as they floated downriver. With only a single crossbow in working condition in each of the ships, there was little most of the men could do but cover themselves with thick mats to fend off the arrows raining down on them, and to beat back with whatever lay at hand the Indians who tried to board the ships. So exhausted we could bear up no longer, we decided to continue our journey in the dark. But those sleeping were aroused at all hours by deafening yells nearby. A war of nerves. Finally, when day began to break,
Manawaka has finished. Let them go. The river will carry them far away. Sons, brothers, why do I feel such sorrow? May they never return.
Finally, we reached the mouth of the great river and the Gulf of Mexico. For another 2 months, with several mishaps, we made our way west, along the coast toward New Spain. On the 10th day of September, 1543, we saw Indians at the mouth of a river.
What country is this? Where are we?
They replied in Spanish. It was the river Panuco, and that a town of Christians was 10 leagues away. As the survivors arrived in town, its people were astonished. It had been so long since the expedition entered Florida, we'd long been given up for dead. As they celebrated their safe passage, all thought of Don Hernando, his body resting at the bottom of the great river. The victor of Peru, and a man who'd reached great heights, he was advanced by fortune, as she is wont to lead others, that he might fall to the greater depth. God reward him. Amen.
The natives of Quigualtam, who harassed and attacked the Spaniards on the Mississippi River, celebrated their triumph with shouts of jubilation. But they had won the most Pyrrhic of victories. When the next wave of Europeans arrived decades later, the prosperous Mississippian societies described by the De Soto chronicles had all but disappeared. The archaeologists of today have found many of the bells traded by the Spaniards to the natives, as well as Indian skulls pierced by Spanish steel. But the real killer here, as elsewhere in the New World, were the microbes and viruses, which ironically were as much a part of Western civilization as gunpowder and the written word. This is Eli Wallach.
Child of the Sun, a drama in 5 episodes, was produced and directed by Robert Clem and adapted from the true relation of the Portuguese gentleman of Elvas, published in 1557. Music score composed and performed by Donald Stark. Script by Robert Clem. Sound effects by Arthur Miller. In the cast were Roger Pretto, Arturo Castillo, Emilio Del Pozo, Francisco Rivella, Mateo Gomez, Paul D'Amato, Juan Aguero, Adriano Gonzalez, Blanca Camacho, Ron Hale, Raul Breton, and George Lee Andrews. The program was recorded at West Tracks Recording Studios in New York City by Jesse Plumley and mixed at the studios of South Carolina Educational Radio by Bill Sexton. For portions of the program recorded in Native American languages, special thanks to Greg Keyes, to Robert Bushyhead and Gene Blanton of the North Carolina Cherokees, and to the Choctaw people of Conahatta, Mississippi. Funding for this series was provided by the Florida Humanities Council, the Arkansas Humanities Council, the North Carolina Humanities Council, the Mississippi Humanities Council, the New Jersey Committee for the Humanities, the South Carolina Humanities Council, and the Program for Cultural Cooperation between Spain's Ministry of Culture and U.S. universities. The series is a production of Radio Action Theater and the Foundation for New Media.